Okay, so I want to talk about the assignment number 3. This is our simple single-page application. Now, you got here, I'm sure, through the link that was inside the assignment description. The details are still in the assignment description, but I often find it helps to visually walk people through assignments that are a little bit more complex. So this is the repo that gives you the starter code. So this assign 3 SPA F2020, this gets us up and running. There's a fair bit of HTML, CSS inside of here to give you the basic layout of the page. And inside the main.js file, I've got sort of a recommended approach. Now, if you decide that you want to delete all of this and write your own code, you are free to do that. You do not have to write the same code as me. But I have here a app object. This is where general controls for the application are going to be starting off. You can see at the bottom here, app init. So this function runs when the script is loaded. So that's going to take place after all the content on the page is loaded, so all the HTML is there. Then I'm going to have all of my code, properties and functions having to do with search is going to take place inside here. Anything on my actors page, anything specific to the media page is here. And then there's a couple of other objects. These are ones that we're going to use in assignment number 4 when we get into a little bit more complex version of this. So what does the application look like? Well, here, let me refresh to go back to the beginning. There's 3 screens inside this application. First one, just kind of an introductory screen, and you'll notice here I've got the little animation happening with the search bar. So what the person has to do is click up in here. As soon as you do that, once you've focused on that field, this stops pulsing, and then we can enter in any names that we want. So type in a name, hit enter. That's going to run a search. It's going to talk to the movie database. We'll look at that in just a second. Brings back a bunch of search results. We're going to show images for each one of the search results. We're going to write their name out, and they've got a popularity setting. And what I decided to do in here with my popularity setting was I was just randomly picking different emoticons to give to each person, whether it was a star or a thumbs up or little clapping hands. When you click on one of these, it takes you to the next page, the media page. So here I am back on the actors. I click here, it goes to the media page. And you'll see I can't scroll down. If I go back to actors, there's a lot of content here, but once you go to media, you can't scroll down anymore. So that's an important thing about the interface. From the media page, we can't click or do anything here, but we have the poster, the name, and the year of the movie. From here, we need a way to be able to get back to the actors. So what I chose, and you don't have to do the same thing for yours, was I'm taking this title as my link to get back there. So I click on a name, I'm here, I click on the word actors, it takes me back. And the whole interface is also responsive. So if I squeeze this down, you can see that the page size is changing. The movie posters become a single column. I can still go back and forth. This is now 1 column instead of 2. And we can go down. The title will shrink. The search box will shrink. When I get down to the bottom, so you can see this title changes where it is as well. This is still written vertically, but when I go back to that page, if I'm at the smaller size, then the title goes back to this. So you can see that it just does change as you navigate back and forth. And that's it. That is basically the application. So it's a responsive layout, mobile first, and it's doing the fetches, bring back this content. We want to loop through and write out all the content, but we want to make sure that if we're missing an image for somebody, which does happen, there's some actors and some movies that don't have an image. So if that value is null, we're not going to add it to the page. The movie database, you'll need to come here. You'll need to create an account. Once you have created an account, you're going to be able to go into your settings. So inside your account, click on settings. And then inside of here, there's an API section. Like you can sign up for one, and they will give you an API key that you can then use to use the API and make calls for the data. The only call that, well, there's two calls for us to make here. One is the configuration. We get the configuration data, which is right down in here, the configuration. What that's going to give you basically is all this information. Inside of here, there's a base URL and a secure base URL. This is the starting part of every API call. Let me zoom in there. So this is the HTTP and the HTTPS version of the same URL. Basically, it's what you put in front of every fetch call or every image call that you want to get. And then these things that are arrays right here, these are the list of possible sizes that are available for the images. Now, you can, in your code, make a call and get this user API key to get this information, and then you can use it in your code, or you can just run it in the browser. If you've got all the proper query string, you can run the request right in the browser, copy and paste all of the results of this, and then just hard code it into your application, if that's what you want to do. Then, search. That's the other part that we're going to do. Inside of search, we're going to search for people. This is the only other thing, other than the configuration, that we're going to do, just to keep it simple. So, in the query string, you have to provide your API key. You have to provide a query. So this is what I was typing right here. So if I type in Amelia, there we go. There's all the matches for Amelia. We can click through those. So that's the query value and the API key. Those are the two required things. There's other stuff that's optional, but we only need those two values. And then this is the result that we're going to get back. So you can see that there is, right here, an array of results. This is the array that has a whole bunch of objects. Each object is a person, so an actor. They will have an ID. They're going to have a name, and they're going to have popularity. Those three things, the ID, name, and popularity, that's what we're writing out here. So there's the name, there's the popularity, there's an ID embedded in the card, and then that image is coming from profile path. So from the configuration, we get the other information that goes in front of this. This is basically just the image name, which goes on the end, so we get the image to display it. When we click on one of the people to go to the media page, this is TV shows and movies. Inside of here, that's the known for array. And it says one of, and that is because there's two possible objects. It's this one or this one. One of them is movies, the other one is TV. If you open it up, you can see media type, string. This is going to say movie. That's because I zoomed in, it's gone here. But it's going to say movie, or this one down here, media type, is going to be TV. That's how you know if it's one or the other. They both have a poster path. That is the name of the image to load. They both have popularity. They both have ID. The difference based on media type is that a TV show will have a name, whereas a movie has a title. Where is it? There, right there, title. A movie has a release date, and a TV show has a first air date. So those are the two values that are going to be different, and we use those to display this information and this information. The poster is the same, the ID is the same, but these two values are going to vary depending on whether it's TV shows or movies. All right, then that's it. I did something in here. I double-clicked to be able to type something. When I double-click, it clears out the field. It's just something that I added. You can if you want. The navigation, once again, if you want to have a button or a link or something that goes back, you can do that as well. All right, so that's it. That's assignment number 3. Take that starter code. This will give you a huge head start with all the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. And we'll be talking a lot about how to do these parts. Okay, thanks for watching.